With only 5 days until the ice house removal deadline, many anglers have some digging to do. The new health insurance deadline is coming up quick and taking many Americans by surprise. January is coming to a close, and many of us are ready to leave our expensive heating bills out in the cold. But with the approach of spring, your fear of this envelope might melt away. Coming up after the break, find out how much time you have until your fish house needs to be off of the lake. It's actually very similar. The next open enrollment period begins November 15th and goes through February 15th of 2015. For more on the upcoming health insurance deadline, check the UTVS website after the show. The Stearns County History Museum has been accepted into a small group of national museums and organizations connected to the Smithsonian Institute. Out of over 500 museums in Minnesota, the Stearns County Museum is the only Smithsonian affiliate. A semi going north on County Road 2 had a crash with a pickup truck turning left on the Minnesota Street intersection. Despite many lakes having around 3 feet of ice, the removal date for ice houses is quickly approaching.
The removal date is midnight on March 3rd, so all shelters that are on the ice need to be removed by that date and time.
The removal date is determined by which side of a state dividing line you're on.
This winter we have the challenge of dealing with this last snowstorm.
With only 5 days until the ice house removal deadline, many anglers have some digging to do.
Although conditions are pretty poor, a lot of shelter owners have had to resort to hiring a plow to plow a road out to them or plow around the fish house.
In fact, it's common to find fish houses left abandoned on the lake.
This is an example of one that I can't find any identification on as far as an owner, so this will probably be my responsibility to get it off after that date.
Houses being abandoned isn't the only problem.
The other issue that I run into frequently with shelter removals is the storage of these shelters at the public accesses.
Keeping your house on the public access is not only illegal, but blocks off parking and lake entrance.
So if it's removed from the lake, it needs to be brought back to the owner's residence or wherever. It can't be left on site here at the access.
Kirk Hiltner, UTVS News. 1 in 3 children that dies in a car accident is not buckled up.
Picking out a car seat for your child is an important task as you are preparing to have a baby or maybe moving to the next step.
It is recommended that children stay in rear-facing seats until the age of 2.
A lot longer than what they were recommending in the past, so people that are newer to this kind of go, whoa, that's a long time.
If that seems long, consider that Minnesota law requires all children under the age of 8 to use a booster seat unless they are 4 foot 9 inches tall.
I have a child who's 8 years old, in 2nd grade, is pretty tall but is not 4 foot 9. She's not coming out of that booster.
On top of making sure that you have the right seat,
There are a few different options on this seat.
it's important to know how to use it properly.
They don't always get it where it moves less than an inch from side to side. They forget to make sure the seatbelt is locking and it's holding the seat tightly.
Taking the time to do a few basic things can go a long way in keeping your children safe.
Keeping them in the back is the safest place. They're farthest away from the impact. Most crashes are frontal crashes, so keep them in the back. You'll keep them safer and further away from those airbags.
Kirk Hiltner, UTVS News. Posters line the halls of Apollo High School. Some urge students to do their best and get their diploma, while others serve a different purpose.
We've already been doing for the last couple of years anti-bullying and anti-harassment lessons with our students, and we do those pre-K-12 for everybody, and we do those throughout the school year.
Anti-bullying programs aren't new to the St. Cloud Area School District. In fact, they've had programs in place for years.
Part of that has been through our district-wide PBIS initiative, our Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, which all of our schools now are embedding.
What PBIS does is create a healthy, safe environment for students where problems like bullying don't go unanswered.
We have supports put into place already where automatically victims are set up with a counselor if they want to have a conversation.
Underneath the old Minnesota law, schools were required to have a bullying policy, but no guidelines were set on what the policy should contain. The new law makes it so that schools have to track and investigate cases of bullying, as well as train staff on preventing it.
So it'll be interesting to see how other school districts adapt to this and what it means for us as a St. Cloud district, because I think, again, we're ahead of the curve on this one already.
Kirk Hiltner, UTVS News.